right. Well, welcome everybody. Thanks so much for coming to talk with the council. I'm Gail Suitor. I channel the council, which is a group of angelic guides, and they come through me and talk through me. I step aside. So I have my moderator or my facilitator, Melissa Sleeth, who's there. Melissa, you want to say hi?
Hello, everybody.
The council likes to talk about the unity that is coming to Earth and how Earth is changing at this time. And so I just have a ton of questions about what that's going to look like, especially since right now I feel like everything that's highlighted is the division. And we have Melissa's son who's in the background. He might not come on the screen, but he'll ask questions too, because he is really thoughtful about what's that going to look like. So I will be calling in the council, and then they start off by saying, "We are here, you may ask." Hopefully, all of you will have questions. And even if it's a question about yourself and your own situation, I want you to feel free to ask that because it's never by accident that you have that question. So just go with what your question is. All right. So here we go. You're here. You may ask.
Hello again. I was
Hello.
going to see if you could start off with a quick meditation for us to kind of ground us in, and then we can ask some questions.
We would be honored. It is usually good to have your feet or something touching the ground or the earth. And we're going to start with 3 deep breaths. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. On this one, let's try and make our exhale longer than our inhale. The breath is always the way back to your center, to your connection. Deep breath. Today we have all gathered to bring forth unity and a deeper understanding of what that will look like. Each of you have come to Earth at this moment to help usher in unity. Each of you were selected because of your expertise in your own frequencies. Breathe this in. We are here to help guide you in remembering who you are, how valuable and powerful each of you are, and your role in bringing forth unity. Today, we will quiet the noise of division around us. We come to co-create in love, acceptance, and honoring each of our own expertise as a key member of the team. Each of you will activate your voice today to be the teacher you are during this session. We are going to take 3 deep breaths and bring ourselves back to the meeting. You may ask, Brian.
I do. Thank you. And council, once again, it's an honor to be amidst you. My question for you is this incarnation has felt like it has been about getting a much deeper understanding of the disease of addiction and what it looks like and what it is and what it isn't compared to how the populace sees it and how I've seen it for myself and through others. And I'm at a point where I'm starting to heal, and I've found some healing, a lot of healing through music, and just recently learning how to play the guitar in a more serious way. And I guess my question is, I'm finding so much peace right now in my life and the way that it's going for the first time in so long, that it feels difficult to want to put myself out there in a more into more conflictive environments that might bring back tension and stress and anxiety and all those things. And part of me is afraid of realizing my calling, or even not even quite fully understanding how to share. Am I on the right path to doing what I was meant to do in this life, in this incarnation?
Yes, there are many points of knowledge that you hit on, and we would like to validate what you are feeling and beginning to understand. We are bringing in a different expert on the topic of addiction. An addiction is a limiting belief in a very strong distraction. So many change makers who lose their way will delve into what your society has deemed an addiction, but it is really just a self-medicating choice that gets stronger and stronger, because if you come as a change maker and you try to remain invisible or maintain a belief that you are worthless or unworthy, it takes more and more of that medication to drown out your calling. While the scientists have found that it does create neural pathways in your brain, and this is how they have labeled it a disease or an addiction, the true reason for that attraction is the fear that is making you not want to step forth as your authentic self and in your authentic power. But that self will fight to get out. So if one is choosing to drown that out, it takes more and more. So now what you're experiencing, Brian, is that you no longer want to keep that power to yourself or to drown out that person within you, that expert that has been here all along. You're beginning to discover your own self-worth. While we understand that you feel nervous or a little fearful of putting yourself out there, that somebody will convince you again that you need to hide, this will not happen. You will no longer hide. You are safe. However, it is okay to take time to be peaceful and really ground into that, so that you do not feel like maybe we should use the images we were talking about before, the year of the snake. You have shed that skin of needing to hide, but yet your new skin is very new. You're feeling a little vulnerable because maybe you feel like you do not have what they call a thick skin. So it is okay to take this time to ground within your own knowing and your own self and your own knowledge, and embrace your own expertise in these quiet moments, and share with your intimate team where you feel safe and are sure that you will be validated in the expert that you are. And yes, music is up leveling your vibrational frequency. So this is why it is so attractive at this time. And it will always and has always been a tool for transformation, not just for you, but for everyone. We would argue that breath and music might be the two most transformational tools available in this incarnation. So it is not by accident that you are delving into the music, as you are also welcoming your own expertise. So we would encourage you to be patient, for you will know when it is time to step out. But it will not be long. And yes, it will always feel uncomfortable, because you are here to grow. Everyone is here to grow. And when you are growing, it feels unnerving. or uncomfortable because you are unsure and you learn what you are learning about. It is like we have said before, it is like when you are learning to ride a bike or drive a car. It's very conscious at the beginning. I must pedal or I must focus on this, focus on that. But yet, once
Yes.
you practice it, it becomes not a conscious thing. It is much easier to do. So it is no longer uncomfortable to do that activity. So when you feel that area of discomfort, it is only a label that we say un or dis. It could be, this is exciting. We are creating something new. So we would like to challenge each of you when you feel that essence of growth to label it something good. Currently, it is labeled with un, which means not, or dis, which means not. So if you label it as inspiration, if you label that feeling as the spark of growth, each time it enters your body, you will be able to welcome it as the tool and the power that it brings. Does this make sense?
Yes, very much so. I just wanted to follow up with, I feel like it centers around my purpose, helping other men to know it's okay to feel their feelings and live authentically.
100%.
You agree? Okay.
Yes. For no change maker can operate effectively until they are operating as their authentic self. So if they continue to hold on to the limiting belief of what masculinity is, or the role of the male in relationships, or what have you, as the provider, as the strong, as the one who leads, that is crippling. For until there is a balance of what you call masculine and feminine in each soul and also in each relationship that is created, there will not be a balance that is sustainable. So, for a long time, many societies have been operating in patriarchy, where the men are the leaders, they hold the power.
Yeah.
But this is not
Time for
sustainable.
a change. Sorry.
It is, yes. And it is
Yes.
not
Women, I
sustainable.
think, yes, I'm feeling that it really should be the women that are leading the society now.
It is both. It has to be like the balanced atom. There has to be a balance of all energies, or there is dysfunction. So, yes, but it does feel that there has to be that change to a matriarchy just because it will take some work and growth for men to give up the power and stop buying into the limiting beliefs of what masculinity is. And it will take some time for the feminine energy to grow its voice and understand its role as creators and co-creators. So each one of us needs to be working on balancing those two energies within us. So yes, your role of questioning what masculinity is and authenticity of there are feelings within each masculine person or anybody who is identified as masculine, that it is also important to embrace the feminine. For if you are only leading and not feeling, if you are creating only power and money, then there is no balance or connection. And you miss out. If you think this is not a man's job to take care of the children, you miss out learning from the souls that have been brought to teach you. So yes, you are 100% correct. It is crucial for unity for each man to drop the mask. Isn't it interesting that it's called masculinity?
Hmm, isn't it?
Probably not an accident.
Yeah.
We are excited that you are stepping into this role. It will be very powerful for everyone. You will find your way. You do not need to be worried. You are protected, and What happens is once you know who you are and you are operating authentically, there is no judgment that can fall upon you that would put you back into a space of hiding. When you experience judgment, you only see it as a person who has an energetic block. It is never about you, it is always about them. So it no longer has the same power. And you will no longer try to be meeting expectations, because when you're operating authentically, it is not that you are meeting expectations or our expectations or anyone else's expectations. You are following your heart. And you do not need to measure up to anything else but yourself. So there is no way or form where you can be shut down. Your thoughts are your thoughts. Your expertise is your expertise. And you meet things with curiosity. This is why you have questions every week or every month that we get to talk, which we love, because that is the open curiosity of a change maker. You speak from your experience and your expertise, but you want to co-create with others to help it grow. It's exactly where you're supposed to be. You are an activated change maker. You've known this already, but we always like to tell you too, because it's fun for people to see how we see you.
Indeed. Thank you.
Thank you. You may ask.
I wanted to see, Loli, I know you probably have to get off now. Would you want to hold your questions until our next meeting in a month?
Yeah, but it was really
Or
helpful.
it is being recorded, so if you want to ask and you have to leave, we can continue to talk about it.
I'm curious, since you were on the topic of unity, I have been experiencing my community under attack for the past few years. And I'm wondering what the council has as guidance for somebody who is within the community and feels like my hands are tied. How do I bring light to the darkness? How do I bring support and comfort to the darkness?
It is interesting that you are looking to bring support and comfort to the darkness. That is an activated change maker. It is not the question of how do we support the victims. It is how do we support the darkness in the situation. For each person that is creating the victim in darkness in your community or coming after your community is a victim themselves, and believing in a fear that if they do not react in the way that they are, that they will no longer be safe. We would bring in the similar answer that we did with Brian. Music. When facing a person who is reacting out of fear, song and unconditional love for that being is your greatest tool to freeing them and ending the situation where suffering is being created. There is groups that are currently operating in Minneapolis and other areas that feel under attack by ICE, as we have heard them call, utilizing songs of love that they are singing towards the perpetrators, loving and healing, and giving them the chance to lay down their weapons and join them. Your hands are never tied. You're only tied when you allow yourself to be tied. But if you operate out of anger and fight, if you feel as if you are warring, then you are creating other victims. This is when things get messy, as we have seen. So the key is to operate in unconditional love, to balance the heart of a warrior and the soul of a healer. You are looking to heal the triggers that are creating it. And if you operate through love and unconditional love for all of the beings in the situation, it will dissipate. This is hard. It requires your own work, as Brian has been such a great example of. You have to work on your own triggers first so that you are not operating from an energetic trigger that has not healed. Once you're in reactive mode, you are no longer observing or curious. You are protecting. So it is key to remain in the curious mode and the healing mode and the observer. That will free all of the communities and yourself. You may ask.
Thank you, Council. And I will make sure that Loli gets the recording of this. Brody also would like to ask you probably a few questions.
I have to think for a second, but I probably have a couple million questions.
We were talking, or you were talking about singularity. Let's go with that. What is
Yes.
your question?
So if we were to go to say into a singularity or even become more united as people, would that become more one world governed, or would that still be everyone would have their own rights and it would be like that? Or would it be more towards everything, every aspect would be controlled?
Yes, this is the greatest fear, yes, that we would be totally controlled. This is what Gail was wrestling with this week. Would this unity mean that everybody is controlled? No, unity is not about controlling. Unity is not about singularity. So this is what we have been trying to create in the past. Yes, we have been trying to create expectations for everyone to fit into. Yes, so when you're in school, you have to measure up to a certain skill level, and you must know and be well-rounded in every subject, and everyone needs to meet a certain expectation to be graded on, and then you are then graded based on how much you have conformed to that expectation. So what we have learned is that conformity is not unity. For conformity involves masking your true experience, your true expertise. It involves ignoring what you're interested in and trying to learn something that you're not. So unity looks not as singularity and not as conformity. Unity is a celebration of each person's frequency. So the differences will always be there, and the individuality will be there more strongly than we see it today. Because each one of you will be operating from your authentic self. Yes, there will be less reactivity because each person will be healed within their own right. But there will still be the intensity of belief in their expertise. So each one of you has your own expertise. And when you share it, it is a rather intense experience for you, whether it be that you know what haircut or how this hair should be cut to make it look the best on that person, or whether you know how to approach social media or you know how to cure addiction. Yes. So it is an intense feeling when you have an expertise to share. When unity comes, everyone will be passionate about their expertise. There will still be that passion and their intensity behind their interactions. However, there will be a curiosity of how those two come together to create something that makes something better for all of us. So instead of what we have now, which is individual hoarding or looking to save for your own retirement, looking forward to get the best car you can get, it will be about how do we support the community as a whole, because the better supported everyone is, the happier and the higher vibrations everyone can maintain. So each goal or each co-creation will have all of the people in mind and how it will better society as a whole, not just oneself, which changes the way people operate in teams. each team member will be chosen or included for the diversity of their expertise. Because the stronger experts you have and the most diverse frequencies, the better the outcome of the co-creation, because all perspectives will be taken into account.
Hmm. Could you maybe talk about that from an economical standpoint? Like, will we still have the same market value we have now? Will money be
No,
irrelevant or
it will be irrelevant.
okay.
All of the things that have been made, all of these systems you currently have, you were talking about one world government. So all of the governments that are currently in place have been to support the learning of differences and dichotomies. So none of the current structures, none of the schools, none of the education, none of the financial systems will be the same, because it is a totally different learning pattern that we will be engaging in as a society. So
Okay.
all of those will be dissolving. Some believe it will take war, which is not true. It will take love.
Will we
So,
actually be able to utilize free energy and things like that?
oh, yes, you actually have all the energy you need. It's just that you have limiting beliefs in how it is created.
You don't use any free energy, even though we have blueprints and stuff for it now.
Hmm. We are unsure of what you mean by free energy.
Like using Aether, like Nikola Tesla, what he made in like 1913 and things like that.
Yes, so he had ideas on how energy can be utilized and made, correct? And there will be all sorts of ways to have energy, but currently there hasn't been energy that has been created that is not creating suffering.
Okay.
Yes. So there is ways of utilizing and organizing energy that does not need to involve harvesting, breaking atoms, taking things out of the earth. There
Hmm.
are ways to utilize energy that do not create suffering. But each person has to be on a higher vibrational level to co-create that energy. So there is what you might call domino effects. While there are still souls here learning about the destructive energy of creating differences and isolating people based on that, rather than including them based on that, that destructiveness creates suffering that then brings down the vibrational levels needed to create and organize energy at a higher frequency. But there are what we would call pods who are already doing this. There are companies that are organized in a unified way.
Hmm.
There is one newsletter that Gail has found that she follows. It's called the Corporate Rebels. And they support and find organizations that are what we would say the unified future based on profit sharing. So each company that they study has been brought together by the employees as a team. So everyone gets the equal amount of profit sharing, and everyone is free to create and is valued for their expertise as they create their products that help humanity. So, for instance, the receptionist is going to get the same amount of profits as what you might deem the CEO now, because each one is in charge of a section of the company that is important. No one is more important than the other. So no skill is more important. Arguably, the receptionist, who is the face of the company and creates the initial experience for each customer, is more important or has a very powerful role than the CEO, who may have been a strategic thinker behind the scene. So
Yeah.
each person involved in that co-creation is rising with the profits or sinking with no profits together.
Well, then no one could try to bring the company down fully, at least.
Exactly. It only allows for when there are fewer profits, then it is clear that it is not as serviceable to humanity as it needed to be. And then you bring the experts together to learn more. Yes. So it is this way that the earth will begin to operate. As far as a one world government, government is problematic. So currently, governments are labeled governments, and they are systems that may have been originally built to provide services and protection. However, they are not doing that in a unified way. It is more that they operate protecting people from differences. So these governments, as you know it, will not be here when unity comes. There may be councils or organizations to help organize resources, share ideas, but the controlling part is not going to be as necessary. For once there is not reactive souls on earth, there will be less need to talk about retribution or correction. It will be more about mentoring and curiosity. So while Gail was concerned with that TV show Pluribus, which each person was interested in not hurting other things or creating suffering, that is just one side of unity. Unity is also about creating and appreciating unique individuals who have expertise and utilizing the expertise in co-creation. This was not seen in that TV show. So, yes, it won't be singularity. It will be this polyarity, maybe, in unity, where all of the experts are valued for the differences of perspective that they bring. But there won't be the need to win or compete with your expertise. It is about creating for the greater good with your expertise. That is what will change with unity.
That makes sense.
Because winning implies someone else is suffering. Competing means someone else is being pushed down. That is not unity. Co-creating means everyone's coming together for a common goal.
Very different perspective than what we use now, that's for sure.
That's what I was just thinking.
But you are a curious one, Brody. So I would think that it would be worth your while to track down that website, Corporate Rebels, because there will be some keys there to what you are bringing forth. They are not yet creating by organizing the atoms and energies as you will be able to do, but they are creating unified teams, which will be helpful to learn about.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
You may ask.
Does anyone else have questions?
We would like to get back to Brian if possible. Is he still there?
Yes.
I am still here. Did you
As
want to
you-
speak to me?
Yes. So as you hear about what unity is like, you can understand how important your purpose is in this world to bring forth each person's authenticity. Because if they are not operating from their authentic selves, we are losing out on their expertise.
Amen.
And if nobody is sharing their expertise, then unity cannot follow.
Yes, the current design stunts a lot of people, the masses, I would say, in the
Yes.
way that we have organized. At least I can speak to my experience of the United States, that in this country on the earth, as years have gone by, I'm 53 now, I have seen a lot of change in the ways of the top echelon of the financial world really learning ways to exploit those beneath them. And that's a bigger issue, but it is an important one that if it doesn't get rectified, I can't see how humans can continue to inhabit this world with the destruction that comes from the powers, from having the ability to have that much power and division in money because of their hold on those who have less in this current government design. Um,
Yes.
yes.
But if you free them from their limiting beliefs, if you free those people who are being exploited from their limiting beliefs and learn how powerful each one of them are and their authentic self and their own expertise, they will no longer be looking for jobs where they can be exploited. They will be co-creating on their own.
Thank you. So you're saying it is people are going to break away from needing to work for the corporations. They're going to begin
Yes.
to see that they can fend for themselves in this life without having to do that. That's beautiful. I'm so happy to hear that.
So
And
there
I,
is no reason to fight those people because they will just no longer have the power to give your power away. You have to give someone permission to do that. People will no longer sign contracts or get into a job description where they are not utilizing their authentic expertise and power or where they are not valued. They will be co-creating in their own teams. That is how startups started. Each one was like no longer going to just join the company for 30 years. They were going to co-create together. So each little pod has learned more and more. Now, some of those startups have become mammoth billionaires. Look at Amazon, yes.
yes.
At the same time, the only time that can happen is when other people give away their own power or give them permission to do that. We do not have to buy into that belief. We can organize our own energy. We can organize our own resources. But it will be crucial as they begin to dial into their authentic selves and their authentic power to remind them that they have a team of angels, they have their own counsel behind them that they can ask to help. The counsel behind you cannot help unless they are asked. But they also need to be awakened to what they truly want. For many of the people buy into the, oh, if I could just be a billionaire. But what does that mean to them? What are the adjectives that they think that will bring? Because billions of dollars, as it has been proven, does not bring happiness. Jeff Bezos lost the love of his life, yes.
Yes.
So did
Bill
many of
Gates.
us, yes.
Yes, they have suffered greatly. I do not envy the billionaires. I think their lives are much less enjoyable than my life. Like
Exactly.
their life, yes.
And
Uh,
this is your expertise. We would like to suggest the addictions that you went through were trying to drown out your own knowing that the system is not helpful. But now that you're willing to
yes.
operate from outside of the system and just operate as your authentic self and embrace your own knowing, will bring that new understanding. You are the activator to help those that are being exploited.
Mhm.
And we would argue that the people who are addicted are the ones who are probably the most powerful change makers.
Mm, mm. That's a big statement and so true because they're the
Yeah.
most sensitive. They're the
Yeah.
most sensitive. Sensitive people are yeah, definitely wonderful human beings. And
And they feel as if they've been victimized, but yet the only thing that has victimized them is their own beliefs in a system that does not work.
yes, I got
They-
very dissolute. You're right.
So if they tap into their own knowing of what is true, they will no longer feel like victims.
Mm.
They will
Thank
know the message they bring.
Mm, I really hear that. Thank you so much. Gail's counsel, you guys fascinate me. I just have to know, do we all have a counsel that we can
Yes.
speak with? We do. I recently have read a book by a scientist who put 100 people under hypnotic regression and put them into a super conscious state. And he was able to create a book that shared a lot of information about what it's like in where you guys are at on the other side of life. It's just
Yeah.
being a soul entity. And what really stood out to me was that we all have our own little pods of souls that we spend time with through eternity. But we meet other souls along the way. And I was wondering if you are indeed Gail's counsel, or if you're a different group Gail's accessing that are a special teaching group to humans. If if there's even a difference.
Each one of you has
Mm.
your own counsel. This relationship with Gail is a bit different for us, for she was part of the council and then volunteered to do this at this moment to be our voice. However, she seemed to forget that for about 50 something years also. We just joke with her. But it also wasn't time. So it took some time to level out and understand how to incarnate. She had done it before, but it is not a usual situation. However, each one of you has a counsel, and that counsel can shift as your purpose grows. So it may not always be the same soul energy or the same angel or what have you. It may change as your understanding of your frequency grows. But each one of you is also feeding us information through your experiences and up-leveling the universal consciousness. So it is not that we are the experts, but we are a piece of the team.
Yes, we come incarnate as humans and bring you guys information as we
Yes,
do that.
yes,
I sense that. Yes, that's great. I mean, I think that's a great system.
yes. We appreciate it very much.
And I'm sure when I pass on, I will appreciate it as well. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But you
Thank
will
you so
never
much.
agree. You will maybe leave your earth suit, but you will never not be, if you know what we're saying. So,
I do.
yes.
And counsel, I don't
But
mean to interrupt, but we are getting closer to time.
yes, it is time. We sense that.
Thank
We
you.
want to say thank you to all of you for coming today. This wind is making her nose itchy with hair. So we want to say thank you for allowing us to clarify unity and how it works, but most of all, thank you for being yourselves and doing the work that is necessary to bring forth unity. And don't forget who you are and why you're here. Walk with that power. Don't hold it in or hide it. Brody, what feels well on you today? What piece of your
Mm,
body feels well? Before we go, we want to know.
my stomach doesn't hurt today. That's nice.
Yes, this is excellent. So this is the time where we want you to spend your time and co-creating new things, for you are needed. We do not want you in your room every day. We are complete.
Thank you, counsel, for all of the information today and advice. It was all very amazing. Very appreciated.
Thank you.
Hello.
I'm back.
Gail.
You're back.
Hi. Hi,
Huh,
Paula. I'm back. Yeah, that was
That
a
was
good
a
one.
that was a really great session.
that was fantastic. Do you remember most of it?
I always think I do, but then when I listen, I'm like, oh, I didn't realize they talked about that. So I never know until I edit the stuff. So, but it's always helpful. So it's great. But they were really activated today. My arms are like, what? Yeah, it's
Wow.
good.
It was powerful, and I thank you so much for the
Yeah.
time. Oh
Well,
my
I thank
gosh.
you for your work with people who are suffering from addiction because I have been a substance abuser and come through that dark hole, and you need the light workers that are standing at the end of that journey.
Oh, I do know. I get it now more than, I once did.
Yeah.
It's been a long journey to really understand it and wrap my head around it and feel safe for the
Yeah.
first time. Like the
It's
council
so
had
great.
suggested, yes, to celebrate in the healing that has happened and what that has freed my soul to be its authentic self and not worry about what it wants to co-create. Be happy with
Ex-
that.
Exactly.